Maybe it's just me, but something feels completely off with this lady women's basketball team. I am going to say something, and it's going to bite me in the rear end. It feels like there's a lot of ball being played that is me ball and not we ball. Turn that M upside down. We, not me. I understand. Look, you played a really, really good game against South Carolina, specifically in the first half. But the second half, they kind of came back on you. Losing that game doesn't really change a whole lot for me. Look, you might have just gotten beaten by a better team. Dawn Staley, I mean, she's really good at her job, guys, just being honest. But this is 2 games in a row, 2 games in back-to-back fashion where I come out of it at the end of it and ask myself the question, how bad do you want it? Now, I understand the Angel Reese fouling out against South Carolina. Okay. I mean, all righty. Not a lot you can do there. I mean, you had some questionable calls. We went off on the refs. I'm with you on that. But, man, I got to tell you, something feels completely off. Nothing feels more off for me than Haley Van Lith. Look, it's tough because how bad is the plantar fasciitis? I've never had plantar fasciitis. I couldn't tell you. But she's 1 from 6 from the floor. She scores 4 points and doesn't move the ball around effectively enough. Angel Reese didn't have a completely bad night, but she went 7 of 17 from the floor. I mean, yeah, she had 20 and 18. Okay. She still was 7 of 17 from the floor. She did not have a good night offensively. Anissa Morrow, 6 of 18 from the field. So, I mean, the only one that was worth a damn and consistent offensively, maybe Michaela Williams. She was 5 for 7. What was Johnson? I mean, she had 18 points. But that's not the real big thing for me. I think there's 2 things that can be said about this lady women's basketball team. Number one, I feel like there's a lot of me ball being played, not we ball. But, guys, you don't have a bench. Like, at all. For example, the last 2 games, the bench has gone off for been good enough for the opposing team to beat LSU. South Carolina, that's expected. Mississippi State, I get that they're 18-5 now. They're not a bad team. But you got Rodgers coming off the bench giving you 19 points. You got Shepard coming off the bench giving you 12 big points. And then what's even crazier than that, you got Jerkayla Jordan, who went off tonight, who had 23 big points, who's from New Orleans. Now, she's a senior, and you can't blame Kim for that, for that young lady going to Mississippi State. But, man, I would really like Jerkayla right now, to be honest with you. Something feels off. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't put my finger on what the major issue is. I know what the fundamental issue is. The fundamental issue is, look, you're going to lose some of these scrappy games like this and games that are physical and other teams can wear you down a little bit. You don't have a bench. This team is not deep enough. They're just not. Del Rosario, the freshman, will she get better? Will she be better? Probably in her career. But Poa is the only other person that can come off the bench and give you any valuable points or minutes and or points. I mean, that's at least what Kim is saying. Guys, they played 7 girls tonight. They played 7 girls against South Carolina. But you're going to have to find somebody that's on that bench that can give you some minutes, that can give Johnson some minutes, that can give Michaela some minutes. Because if you don't, I mean, you're going to play a scrappy team that really and truly you have no business losing to, Mississippi State, that can beat you. Now, it was a sold-out crowd in the hump. Mississippi State was fired up. That's the LSU effect. But it doesn't change the fact that your bench play, you're not a deep enough team. That is going to be the thing for the season. And you can say, well, Blake, what you're saying is not fair. I actually got it from some people when we talked about the postgame show. Well, Blake, you don't talk about us enough. How do you know that we're not deep enough? Okay, well, that sounds okay. That sounds good. Well, Kim does, because you're only playing 7 girls. That's not me saying that. Like, Kim is saying that. Now, I know you had Smith that went down. That's very unfortunate. Pohl is, which you probably thought in the beginning of the year would be able to give you some valuable minutes. But Kim trusts nobody else on that bench other than Del Rosario, which, by the way, I don't know how much Kim trusts her right now, because I think she's doing that to give Angel a little bit of a rest. I think she kind of has to. She doesn't have a choice. So, look, man, we just don't have a bench. And that is what it is. I do want to say this. I do got to say this. I forget which young lady from Mississippi State shot a 3 from like 5 foot from midcourt. But she went up there and she was like, Stephanie. I mean, she was trying to drain a 3 from way back in the distance. Caitlin Clark does that. Okay, it is what it is, but I mean, who she thinks she was? Stephanie Curry? I mean, Kobe, almost got LSU back in the game a little bit. I mean, down the stretch, Mississippi State has some horrible shot selections. But to kind of wrap this up a little bit, another big thing was Mississippi State was 9 of 17 from behind the arc. I mean, guys, anytime you have a team that shoots 18 or close to or is over 50% from the three-point line, it's going to be tough to beat them. I mean, and this is another one where LSU, the third quarter obliterated you. I mean, look, you go up 2 at half. You have a really good second quarter holding them to 15 points. But Mississippi State came out at halftime and scored 28 quick ones on you. I mean, just draining them for 3. 10 of 11 in the third quarter was Mississippi State. 10 of 11. 3 of those being threes. So, Jacayla Jordan, Poe, the bench, Rogers, they went off on you. And Rogers went 4 from 8 from 3 tonight. So, good for them. Good for Mississippi State. I'm sure they will celebrate this. Oh. Here's another thing, too. Guys, turnovers. Mississippi State had 22. They actually led. They had more turnovers than you did tonight. LSU had 21 turnovers. That was another thing that you just cannot have. Turnovers were a big problem in tonight's game for LSU women's basketball. Angel had 3. Michaela Williams, which, look, Michaela Williams is going to be an all-star here. She's going to be an all-conference type of player. Guys, she has not shown up in back-to-back games. She did better offensively tonight. She's going to be fine. I'm not worried about her at all. Like, she's going to be fine. She's going to be okay. But she has kind of taken a step back a little. And when the lights have gotten brightest, she hit a big 3 there at the end, cut it to within 3. but she had 5 really bad turnovers. Really bad turnovers. One, you can probably make the argument wasn't her fault. But man, and then Haley Van Lith. Haley Van Lith actually went into the fourth quarter and didn't have a turnover in the second or third quarter. She had 2 in the first. The pass that she had, LSU was actually up. The pass that she had in the third quarter that gave Mississippi State the lead, come on, dude. It was lazy. She literally was looking, and Jordan was all over her. Was all over Johnson. Like, what are you doing? Morrow and Reese both had 11 steals combined, though. I mean, that's what kept it close. But you gave the ball over a lot. Julia says, I love Haley Van Lith, but if she is injured, switch something around, even though I know we probably can't. I don't know what you switch around. What are you going to switch? So, yeah. Sherry Berry says, Mulkey never plays a deep bench, but she does usually play more than 6. Yeah, I mean, she's going to have to, Sherry Berry. I mean, last year she was playing 8, sometimes 9. I mean, it was because who saw a lot of action? Smith, that came off the bench. Smith, Poole, who was the girl that drained all those threes in the national championship game? Why is her name? Why can't I think of – God, dog it. It'll come to me. Why can't I think of who drained all the threes in the national title game versus Iowa? God help me. Whatever. Yo, Carson. Jasmine Carson. Thank you. Danny girl. Jasmine Carson. So that's 8, or that's 4. Poole, Smith, Carson. Who was the 4th? Somebody else would come off the bench too. So, yeah. Chili with a $1 super chat says Flaugier and Williams should alternate with Haley Van Lith. Luther, yeah, but Luther started. Here's another thing too. I don't think it's completely fair to blame, like, here's what I see on social media, at least. And before we get kind of rolling and started here, a lot of people blame Haley Van Lith for everything. That's not fair. Because in fairness, Williams had 5 turnovers. Morrow went 6 of 18 from the field. Angel went 7 of 17 from the field. Now, Haley Van Lith had a horrible night offensively. She's 1 for 6. I'm not here to defend her. I'm not defending her. Let's not act like she was the massive issue here now, too. But they do not have a point guard. One that's playing one to a higher level right now, though. Not here to defend her at all. But, yeah. Penn Jones says they don't have a floor leader like they had last year. Yeah, I mean, Luther would get him in a lot of Poa. That's who it was. Thank you, Derek. Poa, Carson, Poole, Smith. That's it. That's exactly. So they play 8. But depends. Super chat here, $199 super chat says it seems like they don't have a floor leader. I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, I hate when I wear these stupid khaki shorts. I don't even know why I'm wearing khaki shorts. Guys, it's 6 degrees outside. My big ass is wearing khaki shorts. But, yeah. I just, maybe I'm wrong. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me do this because I want y'all's opinion. Don't listen to me. Let me ask y'all this. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you think that they're playing a lot of Meball or they're playing a lot of weeball? Meball, thumbs up. Weeball, thumbs down. Maybe I'm the only person that thinks this. Maybe I am the only person that just looks at, like Angel Reese is down on the block. Anissa does not want to give her the basketball. Refused twice down the stretch. You were down 5. And Angel had a mismatch. Angel had a guard on her. I think it was Jordan. They got a mismatch, and she doesn't fit her the basketball because it seemed as if it felt to me, or it seems as if that she wanted to go in and score. And let me say this. If it's not weeball, if you're giving a thumbs down, give an explanation. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, maybe I'm wrong. It's just the way that I'm seeing it. I will 1,000%, if somebody comes to me and says, I don't agree with you, okay, look, maybe I'm misreading that. Maybe I am. But I don't feel as if I am. Again, I might get a really nasty text message tomorrow from somebody on that staff, and it just says, what the hell are you talking about? We're really close knit. Okay, well then my bad. I'm wrong. I'm just telling you what I see. Now, normally coaches don't do that. They reach out and say, hey man, what did you see? Look, man, let me tell y'all something. Coaches, they always want to talk. Don't let that confuse you. All right, hold on one second. Speaking of the devil. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Who knows? All right. We got some other things to discuss. LSU baseball also on the horizon. We'll talk about that. Need to touch a little bit more on some football stuff. We'll get to that. Got a lot of Saints fans mad at me from my midday show. If you haven't done so, we did do a midday show. So go over to our YouTube channel. If you missed it, we talked a lot about Austin Thomas. So yeah. Might have to talk about this. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm taking a lot of heat on this Mike Thomas thing. A lot of heat on this Mike Thomas thing. I'm not going to talk about it as much as I did today. At the end of the show, I do need to talk about it. Do probably need to go around your SEC. Missouri hired their DC. We could do that. And then Super Bowl here at the end. I'm going to get y'all's opinion. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl? So stick around. We might do a pick 'em too, or a score thing too, that if whoever comes the closest, we give a gift card or something away. We've done that like every year. We might do that again. Okay. Got to get to a break. Got to pay some bills. Everybody do us a favor, though. Hit the like and share. Share to all those social media groups. If you're on Facebook, like, share to those pages or groups. Share to your own pages. I appreciate it when you do it. Helps us grow tremendously when you do that. You're watching us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. There's a lot of you in here that hadn't hit that like button. Do us a favor. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Hit the share to all those groups and all those pages. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you doing that. So about our good friends at betonline.ag, our good friend over at LPT Realty, Tyler Alexander. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk some football. We got lots to discuss. We do that next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
We're back. All right. We got to get moving. So listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Austin Thomas coming back. We talked about that earlier in the day. You can go check that out. I'm sure we'll clip it. The guys will clip it and put it up on our YouTube channel. If you miss it, you can catch the clip probably tomorrow morning. There is one thing I do want to talk about, though, very quickly in reference to something I missed on earlier today that I want to hit back on here again, because what I didn't necessarily expect was a lot of the questions in reference to people asking, well, why is he back? Like what, we like Austin. We know the rumblings of why he's here, what he's coming back to do. Guys, quite honestly, it's simple. They shouldn't have let him go the first time, if I'm being honest. There was a lot of pettiness that went on at the end of Ed Orgeron's career. Ed said, I don't need somebody. Look, Ed basically ran him off and said, I don't need somebody to help me with practice schedules. And that was a lot of the downfall to Ed. I'm not talking on him. Look, Ed, I've said this before. Ed is an amazing human being, a fantastic human being. Just at the end was a really bad coach. Okay? I wanted to be known on something. Ed wasn't innovative enough or had the vision enough to see where college athletics was going. Like he just wasn't. Okay? Mainly due to the fact and the point and the idea that he just let a guy like Panansky, okay, run. Talk to Derek about NIL. There is a difference. There is a difference between being behind in the NIL game and being unorganized. I think Scott made the right decision because it takes something off of his plate. You have a guy that, look, I know that he's going to have other roles besides NIL. That is going to be his biggest thing. We gave the analogy of Kirby going out there, or we talked about this earlier today, Kirby sending out a tweet of their collective link after they lose Caleb Downs. I could make the argument that this could be a bigger hire than anybody expects it to be. Like, there is a reason. Look, Lane Kiffin's a troll. Lane has always been a troll. But there is a reason why he goes out to a social media platform, Twitter, and tries to troll LSU about a game that he won this past year. It's because he's losing a guy that he does not want to lose because of what they did in the portal with NIL. That's it. That's why. That's why Austin comes back here. That's why LSU does what they have to do to get him back here. That's the reasoning. You got LSU doing a lot of really good things in recruiting. You got Blake Baker out there right now killing it, dropping in on guys. Like, I don't know. This is where I wanted to go to later. We'll get to here in just a minute. Why I think Blake Baker was the right hire. Okay. Dude's already on the trail working his ass off. We never really saw coaches, players, anybody, when it came to recruiting. Maybe here and there. Glad Matt House stopped by. Glad Matt House was here today. It was like a small little checklist for Matt House to go and recruit. Our main thing is going to be talking about Blake Baker here tonight and why I think he was the right selection, because he checks all three boxes for me. The bottom line is Blake Baker can go and drop into these schools. He can go in, he can recruit. And now with a guy like Thomas coming in, those conversations don't really need to be had about NIL anymore. Coaches are not businessmen. They're just not. They don't need to be. They need to be able to have the number, call Austin, get it done. This is what I need. Okay, versus what has somewhat been in the past, some disorganization. You know, I see all of you on Twitter, get Gordon and get it done. He can't be the only thing. You got to have a collective. It's how schools are doing it. It's how they're having to do it. They don't have a choice. Now, LSU has done that. I'm not saying that they have it, but that's going to have to be the way that they go. Now, back to the football-related news. I've been wanting to talk about this when we had some time. You know, we had some games. We had men's basketball, women's basketball. We had some staff hires being made by LSU. We really haven't been able to talk about our new DC other than the day that he was hired. So we'll talk about him a little bit here tonight while all of you hit the like and share. Blake Baker, let me start off like this. Today, I don't really know if you saw it, but Blake Baker has been moving and shaking a lot of places in recruiting. Remember when we talked about on this show that I want the next defensive coordinator, whoever it was, Blake Baker or anybody else, I wanted him to hit three main things. Innovative, check. Has called plays in the SEC, check. Has experience in this league, check. So 2A and then 2B. But number 3, and the point that we talked about the most here, at least on this show, was I wanted a guy that would go out there and want to recruit. Baker is doing that already and already making waves. See, I love Dave Aranda. Thought Dave was really good here. I even actually liked Durante Jones because once Ed let him call the defenses, things actually got better. Maybe Durante could have done some good things at LSU. But none of them were on the recruiting prowess like a Blake Baker is. Now, we can look at what he did at Missouri. I don't think he does a lot of those same things at LSU. He could, but I don't think that he will. We're seeing him at Missouri. We saw him the last 2 years of Missouri, how good they had been defensively, taking Georgia down to the wire, kind of in back-to-back years, not really to the wire this past year, but gave Missouri's offense enough chances to score points and win both football games. They couldn't do it. Blake was up for the challenge. This is why I said last week, and I will say again this one. I know you're not going to agree with me because you see talent discrepancy. I don't know that overall you're not a better team. Now, you got to replace, you can't, you can, but you're not going to be able to replace a Jaden Daniels. You're not going to be able to replace a Malik Neighbors, a Brian Thomas. I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on replacing 3 offensive weapons that are quite honestly, that were more than better. One of them was played elite all year in Jaden Daniels. You can't take that away. But my question becomes, because I believe that Blake Baker is going to be able to get to these young men every single week and make them play above, some of them above their skis a little bit. I don't know if coaching, how do I want to say this? I think the coaching is good enough to make you light years better than you were last year. Now, doesn't stop Baker's challenges here at LSU. Baker's real challenges are, there are some position groups that he might not have the depth that he should have at a place like LSU, or at least experience depth at LSU. One thing that I do know is is he does actually have some good pieces to work with. It's not as if LSU is barren from a talent perspective. I do think he has some young guys that Javian Toviano, highly recruited guy. Deshaun Womack, who was a 5-star guy. Harold Perkins. What can Greg Penn do in another year? Can Blake Baker make Greg Penn onto a Damone Clark type? Could that be a possibility? We've seen him do it here before. He's got some issues in the interior. I cannot dispute that. But he does have some talent in areas with the way that he calls plays, I do think is a fit for a guy like Deshaun Womack, a guy like Harold Perkins, who can come off on the edge. I think he's going to be a better overall linebackers coach and reach that room better than what Matt House did. I just know that he can, and I know that he will. I've seen it not just at LSU. There's a difference. It's not just at LSU that he's done this now. He goes over and coaches safeties at Missouri, and you're seeing that room explode. So not only is he coaching two different position groups, one place he's calling plays, one place he isn't. Everywhere he's gone the last 3 years, the areas that he's coaching has gotten immensely better. The question is the talent level. I don't know that if he doesn't have, on paper, from a recruiting standpoint, a better overall unit defensively at LSU than he had at Missouri. Because the blue chip ratio, which a lot of people go on, LSU beats Missouri by a landslide, even defensively. It's hard to beat what LSU did last year. But LSU offensively had to be that great to go 9-3. I just don't know if that offense, this year's offense under Nuss, has to do that. I don't think that they do. I really believe that they don't have to completely be down pedal to the metal. Now, could be wrong here. For whatever reason, for me, I just think this team, under the direction of Blake Baker, is better. I never really bought in, and I just never bought into Matt House. I made the stupid comment because I was fired up after Alabama. But he's been an issue. You know, Matt House was a locker room issue, a lot like Mike Thomas is with New Orleans. That should piss off some New Orleans Saints fans. Sometimes people aren't fit to be here. Matt House is more of an NFL coach. Because in the NFL, man, it's just professional, and college, it's just not like that. You can tell guys stuff in the NFL that you just can't tell guys in college. Tons to replace. I just think that you're better defensively. Now, Blake is going to we're way too far out for this. Baker has some good teams that he's got to face now, some good offenses. USC, guys, they had their issues last year. Not a lot of them were offensively. Caleb Williams had some games here than there. Miller Moss, their backup, went stupid. He went stupid this year. Blake's got a lot that he's got to help and fix, but he's got a good while to do that and look, I don't even think that he has his full, I don't want to say roster defensively, but I still think that there's guys that they're going to try to go in the portal on the defensive line to get in here before August. I don't think that their team is complete. So we'll see how that goes. But I know they got guys on the edge that can rush. I know that they got talent across the board that can play. The question is, how quickly can they develop them? How quickly can some of these young corners and safeties learn and get with the program? Because, guys, I got to be real with you. If they don't, then you really are in trouble. Because if you think that Jane Daniels is going to bail you out every week, he's not. Garrett's not going to be able to do. Garrett's just not going to do that. You can't ask a first-year starter to do that. It's unfair to Garrett. But you do have guys like Kylan Jackson, who was highly recruited, high 4-star. What is it? Deshaun McBride, a Joel Rogers, a Jawan Johnson. Can any one of those make an impact? What does Jordan Allen do in year 3? Again, here's the truth, man. You actually do have talent. You might not know, like, we have no idea what Kylan Jackson can grow into. What can Joel Olsen do with these safeties and Major Burns, with Major's experience? What can he do? Jake Olsen might get a DC job somewhere if he makes Major Burns at least a second-team All-SEC guy. Tons of dudes, man. Tons. It just feels to me that somebody in this pack defensively, especially in the secondary, is going to start standing out. Specifically at safety. I don't know about at corner. I do feel that at safety. So we'll see. We'll see. But Blake Baker, look, man, he's hitting all. Blake Baker is hitting all 3 areas that I wanted him to touch on. Recruiting, developing, okay, is another one. But recruiting being 1, overall development 2, and being innovative 3. He's doing one of them that we have not had here from a DC. I mean, dude, Blake's working his ass off, and good on him. Okay. Dane Bergeron says, Blake, we may be better from a coaching standpoint on defense. LSU still does not have the players for an SEC offense. Dane, I don't know if I don't know if I agree. I really don't know if I agree. I agree in the interior of the defensive line. Like, so to the point, what is Harold Perkins? Like, what is Harold Perkins? What is Deshaun Womack? They're both 5-star guys. 2 guys that you know that are probably really talented. The question becomes, with a new coaching staff, can they get anything out of them? I do think that you have talent. I don't think all of those guys that you've recruited on defense are misses. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they. You would have had a miss at such a high rate. Somebody's got to come out of that pack. Now, in 22, it was obviously Perkins, but B.J. Ojolari was really good. I mean, guys, here's the truth. I mean, the secondary in 22, as an example, we had a lot of the same questions. Jarek Bernard-Converse, Mekhi Garner. I know that all those guys are portal guys, and these are high school guys. But, man, you'd got a lot of experience coming back. I mean, really and truthfully, a lot of you called for Whit Weeks to play every week, even though he shouldn't have been playing every week. Dane says our DBs suck. I think Dane's on that whiskey, boy. Yeah, so look. About the DB room. Look, man. You're gonna have to be innovative. You can't play man-to-man coverage the whole time. You can't, but you gotta mix it up. You know, now that the season's over, I do want to say something. Okay. I'm really surprised that Brian Kelly let the whole game go on, and nothing changed against Ole Miss. I really am surprised by that. I know what the argument that Matt House made. Well, the guys don't know anything different. Well, that's your fault that they don't. It's 100% his fault. And Brian Kelly talked about this. It got missed in his press conference about Matt House. He said we were trying to fix things at Ole Miss. I think just the players were so checked out. How does culture fit into this too? How does Blake Baker's culture fit into it? I do think somewhere on the corners, look, but they're going to have to develop at a very good rate. I don't think that you're wrong, Dane, completely. Can guys not be allowed to be better? Like, do players stay the same? Are players the same level of play in college from year one as a freshman to year two? Now, you ask a question about a guy like Major Burns. You ask questions about other guys, but I just don't think that they've been developed good enough. And some of that's on Major Burns too. Not all of that was on Kerry Cooks. Major just made wrong decisions. He made a lot of wrong decisions. Covered the wrong guy a lot. Why they continue to run him out there is a question mark. I don't know, man. I just feel like you're going to be a better overall team because I think you make more stops on defense. I think you're more innovative. Dane, they might not be good, but they can be innovative enough. I mean, you weren't good enough last year, and all LSU did there at the end the last 2 weeks was blitz. You got to be innovative enough. Conrad says JD5 wasn't the same. It's called all season. It's true. I mean, what's crazy here is, for me, to that point, like we talk about LSU defense a lot on this show, and a lot of it's always negative. I think Conrad brings up a good point. That point mainly being, like, how can LSU people and LSU fans say that kids can't get better and develop and be more talented and grow up a little bit, mature a little bit? Guys, you literally saw it with 2 Heisman Trophy winners. You saw it with Joe Burrow. You saw it with Jaden Daniels. Now, again, I'm not saying this as a LSU homer, but you've seen guys develop in front of your eyes at LSU. Damone Clark, Blake Baker. Your DC, you saw it underneath him. Like, don't act as if that those things never happen. Now, LSU's got to go out there and prove it. LSU defensively has to go out there and show that they've developed and gotten better, and their talents are showcased. All of those things are true. But as an LSU fan, you cannot say that players don't get developed when the 2 last Heisman Trophy winners that you got, 2 of the last 5, develop from one season to the next. You can do it. You can do it. James says Major Burns is horrible in coverage. Yeah. He wasn't good. Corey West, Blake, is 85 players going to become an issue in the fall? No. I'll tell you why in just a minute. With that, in the fall, with what we have now and what we pick up in the transfer portal. Corey, it's a great question. And one that a lot of people have answered. And a lot of people have asked. A lot of people have asked, I should say. You're going to have to process some guys. Some guys are going to have to go in the portal. And more than you think. Because the truth is, you're probably going to bring some other guys in here in the spring portal window. So, no. I mean, they're going to have to get to the 85. I mean, they're going to have to get to the 85 before August. So, no, it's not a worry for me. Just depends on what players leave. There are players on the team that have had zero production that literally take up a roster spot. And I'm not going to call out their names. Maybe an offensive lineman, maybe two, probably a wide receiver, probably a DB or safety, or corner and safety. I don't know anybody at linebacker you would process. Surely ain't nobody on your defensive line that you would process. So yeah. You're going to have to process. You're probably going to process another 6 guys. I would assume 6 to 10, maybe. Depending on how many guys you're going to get in from the portal. It sucks. But I'll say this again. I said this last week because somebody asked me this, and on this show, don't you ever get mad at players wanting to get paid again. Lance Hurd, look, we just told you what Lance Hurd was about. Didn't say he was wrong. Go get your money. I never once said stay here and compete. If you want to go get your money, go get your money. I mean, wasn't the money that he was expecting that he'd get, but he went and got paid. But when you got a coach that's got to cut kids, okay, you can't be pro LSU and then not be pro, then, the player's leaving. Why is he doing that? Oh, well, then Brian Kelly cuts another kid that wants to be here. It's a shitty world sometimes, man. But it's the hand that they're dealt. It's the hand that they're dealt. I had somebody ask me, too, if I thought LSU gray shirted any players. Hell no. Who do they gray shirt? They can't gray shirt nobody. They need all the hands on deck that they can get. All of them. Okay. Do need to get to a little baseball talk. Let me do this. I'll answer one more question. This one from our good friend Stephen Fry over at Fry Construction. Says, Blake, this is somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but could you ever see Perkins making a drastic position change to safety and end up being an Eric Reed or Chad Jones, similar body types? I don't know about that. Like, I don't think he's going to be a safety in coverage like they were. Maybe he could. I mean, technically, Stephen, he is a box safety. I mean, that's just what he is. I mean, he plays in the slot, but he's a box safety slot. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I have no idea what they're going to do with him. I understand. Look, I understand what they were trying to do with Perk. I was not overreacting as some. I thought they need to rush him off the edge more. Like that, they're going to have to do. They're going to have to send him on blitzes and send him off the edge more. That's not a question to me. Like that 100% is you're going to have to do. I did not realize that they would, because going into the season, I thought, okay, he'd play. He's going to play line, playing the inside on some downs. They'll probably run in Greg Penn and then put Perk in some kind of passing down situation on the outside. They'll rotate pieces in. I thought they'd be innovative enough there. Well, they weren't. Perk is also still learning the position. I just think another drastic. See, I worry for him because another really drastic change. Then what? Then what? I understand the Matt House crew's argument about Harold being bad in run support. Guys, he's not good in the run game. I mean, against better teams, he has not been. That's one thing that he's going to have to be better in. Like, if he's going to be that close to the ball, he's got to get better in run. Look, Harold Perkins is a savage. Top 10 talent. He's going to be he's a top 5 talent in next year's draft. The problem is, though, I don't know what an NFL team does because he's so bad in run support. Or against better teams has been so bad in run support. Eric Reed and Chad Jones were never bad in run support. They were always really good there. Perk is really good at tackling in space, getting out to the edges and tackling and being a tackling machine. When it gets in that box, I'm going to call it what it is now. He gets his ass whooped. All right? I'm just going to call it a spade. I mean, you got the film to back it up. Anybody that wants to challenge me on that, we got the film to back that up. That's not an issue to get that film. You got Alabama media tweeting the film out about how Harold in the run game is getting absolutely abused, man. I mean, that's not guys, me saying that is not an opinion. You may think that what I just said was an opinion. It's not an opinion. Like when you have the film on it, 5 plays where running backs have runs of over 10 yards because they're running right at Harold Perkins, that is an issue. He's got to learn to spell the block. Don't take on the blockers. I think that there's something to be said about a player like Perk containing. Like, we see a lot of defenses that put their outside pressure, like they get him in the box, but they don't put him in the box. Meaning they keep him on the edges of the box at any given moment. Let Perk play contain. Don't give him the responsibility of having to be in there with the Willie Mammoths of the world, taking on blocks from a guard he has no business taking on. If he's going to do that, he's got to get to 235. And him at 235 pounds is not his game. Because today's day and age is different than when Eric Reed played or Chad Jones. You got to be a little, I don't know. I love when my wife sends me a text during the show and then she just says, "You," laughing face emoji. That's never good. That means she just saw something. It's going to be really funny, and it's probably something bad that I do. I mean, my wife thinks that I don't know her. I have not looked at the TikTok. Yet. I'm clearly on a show. But something she just sent me is going to be something that's bad about me. Do y'all's wives do that? Do your wives send you TikToks? Oh, this is you. And it's just like the stereotypical dude thing. Because mine does. She doesn't do it often, but she does it to me. She surely does it to me. This is you. All right, let's get to a quick break. LSU baseball, we'll close it out with that. We do that next. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600.
Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
Bayou Daiquiris at Bayou Bowl and Go is owned and operated locally by Steve and Lisa Bean. You can find them at 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington, Louisiana. That's 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington. The North Shore's first crawfish drive-thru is about to step it up another notch by bringing you drive-thru daiquiris as well. You can call in your order today at 985-888-1914. 985-888-1914. Because you know what? Daiquiris and crawfish, it's a Louisiana thing. So remember that TikTok I just said my wife sent me? Definitely me. It wasn't as bad. It was about Taylor Swift. I'm so tired of Taylor Swift. And look, man, I got to be real with you. I'm not going to pick my Super Bowl champion right now. We got 2 weeks to do that, or less than 2 weeks. I'm just tired of seeing Taylor Swift. I really am. And what's so bad is people are mad at Taylor like she's putting herself on camera. That's CBS. That's the NFL. That ain't on her ass. She don't give a shit about being on no TV. She probably just wants to enjoy the damn game. Right? Like she probably just wants to enjoy the game. Her boyfriend is playing in the game. I'm just so tired of talking about it. Like my Twitter feed yesterday, Taylor Swift and Kelsey making out. Taylor Swift's got to fly from Tokyo to Vegas. How can she do it? I just really don't give a fuck. I just don't care. Like, I just don't care about Taylor Swift and her boyfriend making out on the 50. Don't care that Andy Reid's pointing at her. Don't care. Want to watch football. Want to watch football. I wonder what Taylor Swift thinks about that play, Jim. Who gives a shit? I'm not telling you. Well, I'm not going to tell you my sponsorships. Yeah, I think this is a troll. I think that's a troll. We ain't getting trolled here. So look, I do think San Francisco, I want San Francisco to win. I want anybody besides Kansas City to win. I actually like Kyle Shanahan a lot. I think he's a really good play caller. Look, he's gotten to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, and Matt Ryan. I mean, the guy has not had a transformative quarterback, but he's still getting there. I just want somebody different to win it. I'm so tired of I'm like you, man. I kind of want to. It feels good when the Patriots lose, or when they had Brady. It feels good when Kansas City loses. I loved it when Joe Burrow kicked Pat Mahomes' ass. You know, if Joe Burrow wouldn't have been hurt, he would have been the only man the only man that could have saved us from Kansas City getting back into the Super Bowl. It's really his name is Joe Burrow. That's the only man that can save us moving forward from this Taylor Swift fiasco. The league better beware, because the only man, and he's going to come back and do really good, the only man that can save us right now is Joey B. Get Taylor Swift off my damn TV. Okay. LSU baseball's around the corner. Now, got to admit, really fired up for this season. Really fired up. Think this team's going to be extremely talented. You know, look, man, you've seen Tommy White coming back. And you know what's crazy, man? I don't think we talk about Tommy White enough. We talk about him a lot, but we don't talk about him enough. And this is the biggest indicator Jay Johnson is at a press conference, his opening press conference of the year, officially his first press conference, media days for LSU baseball. It took 38 minutes for somebody to ask about Tommy Tanks. 30 minutes. How? That I don't get. Dude looks good at the plate right now, man. Looks good in the field. I know he had shoulder surgery, but Jay was right. I don't think Jay goes to the podium and lies. Hey, man, this dude's a different kind of animal. Like, I mean, he had surgery, really didn't do a lot this fall, came out and is crushing the baseball. Yeah, it's crazy what happens when your body gets rest and was able to recoup too. But look, you have a lot of power in this lineup. You have a lot of good hitters in this lineup. What can young guys like Brown do? I mean, look, Kling Kong, Pearson comes back and is playing second too, which is crazy. Michael Braswell has had the kid from South Carolina from the portal, your shortstop, has had an amazing fall and early part to his year. So, look, we're not that far away from baseball. And look, a lot of talk has been about this the guys on the mound, this pitching staff, Gage Jump being absolutely filthy, the lefty from UCLA. What can Luke Hallman do? You know, you have a guy returning like Thatcher Hurd. You got the freshman phenom, the lefty, and Cam Johnson. Like, you have a lot of really talented arms in that pen and guys that are going to be in your rotation on the weekend. The question that everybody has is about them at the plate, and I just got to be real with you. I'm never going to worry about a Jay Johnson team at the plate, probably ever, until he shows me something otherwise that I should be worried, but he hasn't, and he probably won't. I think LSU might struggle a little bit early out of the gate at the plate, maybe a little bit to be expected. But once, as the weather starts heating up, I think the bats are going to heat up. And this team is, look, they're preseason top 2, a lot of expectations around them. But the truth is that they're really talented. I think they're more talented than on the mound from start to bottom than they were a year ago. But that's hard to say. That's a national championship winning staff. Look, they had their bumps and challenges in the road, but this team won over 50 games, and some of them and a lot of them convincingly. You know, they had their struggles with adversity last year. Rhett Lauder shoved it down LSU's throat. Then in the 11th, Tommy Tanks. Did he get it? Did he get it? He did. Carl Ravish with an amazing call. But the bottom line is, dude, I've been telling y'all this, and I've gotten so much pushback on it. There's not a better recruiter at LSU better than Jay Johnson. Nobody. I will die on that hill and gladly die on that hill. You better put some respect on Jay's name, man. They got a really good weekend rotation. They got really guys that are really talented at the plate. I'm really looking forward to this year and how things are going to turn up. We'll see you tomorrow. Carter the Power Bryant joins us. Later.